Do you like exploring? Maybe you like going to new places and investigating everything that it holds. Perhaps you've been on a school trip or a holiday or a day out somewhere and you just didn't want that day to end. That's a little bit like today's story. Today's story is about a character called Sid and his granddad, and they go somewhere that Grandad knows a lot about. Today's story is called Grandad's Island, and it's a story of adventure and friendship and never ever wanting a day to come to an end. Grandad's Island by Benji Davies. At the bottom of Sid's garden, through the gate and past the tree, was Grandad's house. There was a key under a flower pot, and Sid could let himself in any time that he liked. One day, Sid called round to see Grandad, but he wasn't in any of the usual places. Then, just as he was about to leave, Sid heard Grandad calling. "Ah, there you are," said Grandad. "There's something I want you to see." Sid carefully climbed up the ladder. He had never been into Grandad's attic before. It was full of old boxes and things that Grandad had collected from around the world. At the far end of the attic, Grandad pulled a sheet down from the wall to reveal a big metal door. "After you, Sid," he said. Sid turned the handle, clunk, and gave the heavy door a push. Sid found himself standing on the top deck of a very tall ship. There was an ocean of rooftops all around. Grandad pulled the handle. Boop went the horn, and the ship lurched forward. "Steady as she grows," Grandad boomed. Grandad was very good at steering the ship and kept them on a smooth course across the rolling waves. Mile after mile, all they saw was sea and sky and sky and sea, until, at last, something appeared on the horizon. "Land ahoy!" shouted Sid. They dropped the ship's anchor and made their way to the shore. "Grandad, don't you want your walking stick?" asked Sid. "No, I don't think I do. I'll be all right," said Grandad. In the thick jungle of the island was a very hot day. "We must find a good spot for a shelter," said Grandad. At the top of the island there was a cool breeze that blew through the trees, and they found an old shack. There was a lot to do, but with little help they soon had everything shipshape. They explored the island high and low. At every turn they saw new wonders. It was the most perfect place. Sid wished they could stay forever, but he knew it would soon be time for them to leave. "Sid, there's something I've been meaning to tell you," said Grandad. "You see, I'm thinking of staying." "Oh," said Sid, "but won't you be lonely?" "No, no, I don't think I will," said Grandad, smiling. Before he set sail, Sid hugged his Grandad one last time. He would miss him very much. Everyone came to wave goodbye. Across the waves the ship chugged and churned. The journey seemed much longer without Grandad, but Sid steered the ship safely home. The next morning, Sid went back round to Grandad's house. It was just the same as it has always been, except Grandad wasn't there anymore. In the attic, it was very quiet. The big metal door wasn't there. It was as if it had never been there at all. Then Sid heard something tap, tap, tapping at the window. He wondered what it might be. There, on the window ledge, was an envelope. Sid carefully prized it open. You see, I just wonder, who wrote that letter? Was it Grandad? Or was it one of the jungle animals? And more importantly, what was in that letter? This is a perfect opportunity for you to have a go at writing a letter to Sid. Now, letter writing is just one of many things that you could do from this story. Here are a list of some of them. Investigate. Think about a jungle animal. Think about what they look like. Think about what kind of food they eat and some really interesting, unusual facts about your chosen jungle animal. How about drawing jungle pictures of jungle animals that live in there? You could map out a route from where you live all the way across the rolling waves and to a jungle somewhere far away. If you're doing this, think about how you'd get there and the seas that you would cross. How about also, I don't know, getting a rucksack or a bag, maybe even your school bag perhaps, and think about if you were going back to Grandad's Island, what would be some of the things that you'd put inside there? You could label these and make a list of them perhaps. And finally, why not build a den? In the story, Sid and his granddad built a den. What things have you got at home that you could pull together to make some kind of interesting den? You've probably got perhaps pegs and sheets and boxes and a couple of chairs. Think about designing a den, a hidey hole, a snug, a place to investigate, just like the one in the story. So download this document and, more importantly, share with us some of the incredible work that you have done. Get a grown-up or a carer, parent, school teacher to share either on Instagram, Facebook, or indeed Twitter. We'd love to see some of the work that you've done this week. Now then, if you've enjoyed this story this week, don't forget, because every week we're going to bring you another story with a whole heap of ideas that you can go away and do. So, see you next time for another incredible story.